Hello everybody! I hope you enjoy springtime. Today, I would like to talk about Japanese and love. Maybe some of you think, I know already, hihihihihi. No. I don't mean those websites that you get when you Google certain popular words about Japanese. We want to know about real love. We are romantic. Yes, Japanese can be very romantic, but because we are special, we are romantic in a special way. Today's topic is how Japanese express I love you. Love and relationship is always an issue. Admit it, for everybody, right? Normally, men and women in all different combinations who like each other also understand each other. Agreed? But if you like somebody from different background, it is not so easy and there is a lot to concern. Believe me, I know this. Having a relationship with a Westerner for me as a non-native English speaker with Japanese background can be quite challenging or maybe entertaining. You want to hear some stories? I have many, but I'm told that I'm not allowed to tell you. For Westerners, Japanese are notorious not to express their feeling clearly, in general anyway, but especially about love. Even now in 21st century, we think love is something you feel. You don't need many words, and they have to be the right ones. And I decide what is right. So, what do you say when you want to say it? I love you. First of all, many Japanese, especially from older generation, believe, why say it at all? This is not something you have to remind each other by words, but you feel the love by behavior or just by being with each other. But we do have a way to say I love you, and I'll get to it in a moment. But to be honest, over last decades, things have become less complicated. My parents' generation, for example, they don't say I love you to each other. And to understand this, we have to look back onto history of Japan, specifically at Meiji era. Have you ever seen this Japanese bill? It's 1,000 yen bill. This guy here on the bill is Soseki Natsume, a writer, poet, and a very wise man. His most famous novel called Kokoro has been sold over 7.5 million times in Japan, and still sales continue to grow as a must-read book. He grew up and became a writer during one of the most interesting time of Japanese recent history, late 19th century. He witnessed a period when Japan changed more than ever before. Japan opened its doors to visitors from outside the country, first time after 200 years. Can you imagine how much this impacted Japan? It must have been like aliens arriving in our country. Like many Japanese of this time, Soseki was fascinated by Western language and art, but what he saw in there made him try to express what our own culture means and how we feel as Japanese. How do we love? Soseki knew English very well and even became a teacher. He once asked his students to translate the English phrase, I love you, and they translated as, Ware kimi o aisu, sonata o itoshiku omou, which quite literally means, I love you, I have feeling for you. Japanese people don't say that, Soseki replied. If we want to express this way, we rather say, the moon is beautiful. The moon is beautiful? What does that mean? Where that idea come from? How can it mean I love you? Can you relate yourself saying the moon is beautiful, meaning I love you? What do you think he or she will think and say then? To understand this, you must know more about Japan and Japanese. The country was isolated completely for 200 years until late 1800s. By then, Japanese had become a mono-ethnic country with very few differences in values and perceptions. One sky, one country, one people, one blood, one brain almost. This common background allows Japanese to connect with each other in a way a more varied culture might struggle more with. A small gesture, a facial expression, some tone in a voice can mean so much for us. Much more than the actual words coming out from your mouth. In an ideal communication, Japanese forge an invisible bond that goes way beyond many spoken words. As a matter of fact, the mysterious person that can express a lot without saying much is very much admired. When you have something to say, think about it long, find the perfect timing, keep it short and witty, and you will be seen as smart and attractive. Chitty-chatty person unpopular, believe me. We don't like long and complicated sentences. Am I giving you an advice to you guys how to pick up someone in Japan? That's not my intention, but feel free to take an advantage next time when you see a Japanese you fancy. But back to the beautiful moon. Moon is beautiful, yes. But why does it mean I love you? Let us all imagine this scene, something that can happen like this every night in Japan, anywhere in the world really. A couple is walking through town at night. Skies between the houses has turned from blue to black. Their path is dimly lit by a gas lamp. The light is barely reflected in the streets, on walls and doors of surrounding wooden houses. They meet others, colorless and fleeting faces that pass by hurriedly. The man leads the way. She is following behind. Not too close and not too far. They are apart, yet together, but not interlocked by anything else than an invisible bond. He is paying attention to the sound of her footsteps behind, walking boldly but not too fast for her, determined to escort her home safely. It's getting late. There are no spoken words between them. They leave the main path, and darkness surrounds them, swallows them almost until they reach the open fields. No more fleeting faces expect their own profound night. But there is the moon, a full moon, shining softly, casting milky shadows. They want to walk forever together. They both can feel it, walking through the night together under the moon. This can be the path to follow for the rest of our lives. Still silence. No cheap words must slide the moment. The air is fresh out there, tickling their cheeks as they stop. He inhales and finally says, "The moon is beautiful." This story is a legend actually. We have never known if Soseki really told it to his students. It was never written down. Yet still, we regard this as a pure expression of love in Japanese. It says so much about Soseki and Japanese people of his time. But actually, story is not over. He said his part about the moon and so on. But what is her reply? How does she express her agreement? Let's assume she does, and it's not all just in his head. That can happen too, right? How does he know what she thinks? What is the right answer? Many poets have tried to come up with one, and there is the one we all understand, the perfect one. You want to hear it? Of course, it's so romantic. But I will tell you only in the end of the video. Let's look at options first. Imagine somebody tells you the moon is beautiful. What do you reply? Depends on your feelings. What if you don't really agree? He completely misunderstood and you just realized, and there must be an elegant way of getting out of this without embarrassment. You plainly say, "I can't see the moon." He will get that, believe me. It means, "Could you please get me home ASAP?" But often it's not that plain and simple. Or you want to be a bit more subtle. Maybe either one of you is married or having a lover. Maybe you know it won't work out for some reason. You want the relationship to remain as it is now without further progress. Then you could also say, "It's this beautiful because it's out of reach." This is more romantic and sophisticated way to say, No, it's not happening. Or you say, oh, that's true, isn't it? Answer vaguely and change the subject to something else. Japanese do this often, pretending not to notice the hidden meaning. Sometimes non-Japanese mistake this for a pretty clear no. In this case, it means you are interested, but feels it is too early to start relationship, not the right timing, and you prefer nothing to happen right now. We are getting closer. What if you do want to agree, you have special feeling, and it's time to state the obvious? Let's move this forward. I know what I'm feeling, and I assume you do the same. We are looking for the right direction. Then the best reply would be, it's beautiful because I see it with you. Or, the moon has been beautiful always. There's a little bit of why we've been wasting on our time. Let's get on with it. But what is the perfect reply to the moon is beautiful? The one that expressed the deepest of all feelings, unconditional and eternal love, so profound it surpasses all other emotion. There can be only one such reply. And we believe a famous Japanese author called Futabate Shime came up with it first, when he translated the works of Russian author. A woman was romantically approached and kissed by her true love, and she just whispers, yours, to him. In Russian, of course. Futabate thought long and hard, and eventually knew just the right expression in Japanese to reply to I love you. I could die. The ultimate reply to the question of all questions. How much do you love me? So much I could leave it all behind me at this precise moment and not miss anything. It is absolutely perfect the way it is. Why live longer? Love for Japanese is not what you do or say. It's something you long for, you burn for until eternity. Aren't Japanese romantic? How do you express your feeling to your loved one? Or are you still trying to find the right person? Or you did and he or she doesn't know? Maybe time to walk home together at night and admire the moon? Just hope there will be no clouds. Do you have any other romantic idea to express it? Please write in the comments and let me know. Thank you very much for watching today. Have a good day and have a good evening. See you next time. Bye! またね